I want to confess something to you. And then I never want to say another word about it again. Ever again. My dear sisters, I want to confess something. I want to bare my soul. I want to confess something to you, and then I never want to say another word about it ever again. I want to tell you everything right now. It's my secret, but you should know it anyway. I can't keep it to myself anymore. I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm in love. I love that man. The one you just saw just now. The one you saw just now. The one you saw just now. The one you saw just now. Well, that's it. I love Rashinin. What can I do? What can I do? At first I thought he was strange. Then I started feeling sorry for him. Then I fell in love with him. In love with his voice, with the things he says, with all his problems, with his 2 little girls. Oh, Olga, you're the silly one. I'm in love. It's fate, I guess. I mean, it's just my luck. And he loves me. It's also funny. Don't you think so? Doesn't it strike you as funny? Oh, my darling. We'll get through life somehow. No matter what happens to us. When you read about these things in books, it all seems terribly silly and predictable. But when you fall in love yourself, you realize nobody knows anything about it. Everyone has to figure it out for herself. My dear sisters, there, I've told you. Now, I will never say another word about it. The rest is silence. Okay. What was that? What is she doing? She is in the process of memorizing a monologue for a Chekhov intensive that I'm going for. I'm so excited. You have no idea. Like, words cannot describe how excited I am. Yes. And it is almost midnight. I'm gonna go to sleep soon. I'm going to blow dry my hair. This is kind of what I've been doing to get it into waves. Kind of. I mean, right now it's slightly more curly than wavy, but YOLO, you know, whatever. It is what it is. Because if I don't do this, it kind of goes a bit frizzy straight. You know, it's like straight, but not straight. It's like frizzy. So I discovered at the age that I'm at that my natural hair is not entirely straight. And then I thought about it and I realized, yes, actually my dad has like slightly wavy hair. So why did it never occur to me, you know, that I have hair like his? Probably because it's always short. Like, he has short hair. So, like, as a man, he has his own, you know, short haircut. So I never realized, you know, I guess his waves, like, don't need a lot of maintenance or care. Like, well, actually, probably, I don't know what genes he has, or like he's just as happy with his hair, and, you know, bless up. But I realized that because my hair length is 20 times the length of what he has, I need to kind of like look after them so that the wave comes out. Yes, so that's kind of why her hair is in these like little cute little buns. Okay. I think they're cute, so that's all that matters because it's my hair. And then I'm gonna go blow dry my hair. But that was the first time I sat down and fully read through this monologue that I'm preparing. It is Masha's monologue from The Three Sisters by Anton Chekhov, translated by Paul Schmidt. Yes. I'm so excited. I've never done a Chekhov class before, ever in my life. So I'm actually really excited. And also, okay, so I had this huge so I did this exploratory thing as the first video in this series of acting the classics with me. And I had this, I think I talked about it in another video, but I had this huge what is the word for it? You know, I fell out of love and then I fell back in love with him again, with Shakespeare. Yes, I'm talking about a playwright. Talking about a playwright. Oh my goodness, growing up, learning Shakespeare, being typecast in like certain roles, and then going to England in the UK, and then feeling as if like doesn't matter how good I am, like literally because of how I look and how God, the universe, like the source of all things, created me. Like, I'm different. But I'm still human, you know? And so I kind of like felt like all of these people that I had met up to the moment I stepped onto the ground at my studio, my home studio, I was just like, my home studio in the US. Before I came to this studio, like, I had such a unaligned view of Shakespeare's work. And it really is thanks to my teachers, all three of the Shakespeare teachers that I've had through this home studio in the US, that I realized, no, Shakespeare is source material and inspiration and the beauty of the English language in its full, complete form has been expressed in so many plays and sonnets and ways through these complete works in the English language. And to truly like, and because I'm like such a big student and I'm so fond of learning about languages and culture, connecting with that and allowing myself to tap into that really reconnected me back into Shakespeare. And then I fell back in love with it, you know? Yes. And there are things that were constraints of his era. And at the same time, there were many things that were ahead of his time. And my female Shakespeare teacher, Nikki, I'm so happy. She really inspired me, and she kind of challenged me as well. She was like, no, you need to have another look at these female characters, Diana. She didn't really say that, but that was the vibe that I got, you know. That was like, she said it in a lot more teacher-like words, you know. She's such a good teacher, and she said it in a very educational and informative way, and very like kind and compassionate way. And my takeaway was that yes, I actually need to go back and have another look at these characters, especially the female ones, because I felt so constricted and restrained and limited by a lot of like English language female characters, because that's just not my experience. Like okay, for example, I mean, I'm just gonna put it out there. Mulan, the Disney Chinese princess. I guess she is the Chinese princess, but she's actually a war general. She was a war general who dressed up and embodied the son that her father, you know, quote unquote, had to take his place in military service and to serve the country. And so a lot of these questions that, you know, and issues that I had, I just felt so limited. I was like, okay, so you're telling me that Viola is doing this for a man, romantically. And I suppose, yes, in Mulan, she is doing it for love for another man, for her father. Out of love for her father and her family, she's decided to embody the son that that the society needed of them, to show up and fight for the country from invaders, and it's such a different stakes, such different gravitas. And then I remember coming into Shakespeare and thinking, like, what is happening here? I grew up thinking, like, I guess my parents were very forward thinking and encouraging and loving, because they were just like, yeah, just do it, like, we are human beings and we can embrace all aspects of ourselves. So I'm very blessed and grateful to have had that family and upbringing, and then to, like, kind of feel the ripple effects of these, like, questions of gender and sex, biological sex, from my culture in general. But yeah, so I was so confused, because then, like, I just could not for the life of me understand, like, what is going on and why am I so limited. But then after I came to the studio, and my teachers, they allowed me to do what I wanted. They were like, okay, you want to do Brutus, do it, go and play Brutus and Julius Caesar. I will do. And I got assigned that, and that was really fun, and I played Brutus for a couple of scenes, and then we did those, like, exploratory scene studies, and then I really fell in love with Cleopatra, and I realized, why did I never, I guess I was too young when I was younger. When I was younger, I just did not understand Cleopatra. And Antony and Cleopatra, I was, like, confused. I was like, this is like, how is this different from Romeo and Juliet? But it's entirely different. Entirely different themes and gravitas and weight and the stakes that they're carrying. And at the same time, even though Romeo and Juliet are much younger, the stakes are still huge for them in their lives. And then I started developing empathy for that. And so, yeah, maybe at some point I will try some stuff from Juliet and just tap into that lighter side of myself, so that I'm not always playing those, like, responsible older sister type roles. I get to be a kid too. Anyway, but that is to all say that I fell back in love with Shakespeare. And it really is thanks to my teachers, yes, in the US, who just held space for this process and the artist's creativity and play. And it's such an interesting country and time to be here, and I'm really grateful for all of these experiences. And so I'm super excited to go and learn Chekhov. Yes. Okay. I'm super excited. I just can't contain my excitement, and I'm also kind of nervous. I'm nervous because I don't know why I'm nervous. I think, well, a lot of it has to do with the fact that I'm going to be visiting the New York studio So my home studio is really cool because we have 2 branches, and you know, it is named after and traces its roots back to Stella Adler, but actually it traces its roots back to her father. So, and beyond that, her family. And there's so much work in that I wish more people knew about. Yeah. Because when I was looking through all of the methods available for me to embrace as an actor, you know, I've tried so many. And even like, here's the interesting thing. I uploaded all of my human design and 八字 and my astrological data into ChatGPT, and I was like, based on all of these charts and my energetic profile, what do you think is the best way for me to develop and embody my energy and live into my purpose and embrace my strategies and develop my presence, you know, as an actor and as a human? It gave me all these recommendations, and then I was like, okay, so based on all of these, like, what kind of acting strategies? I think it actually decided to recommend me acting strategies and acting techniques that suited my aura and my energetic profile. But it did not, but I don't know why it didn't bring up the one that I'm doing. And then it made me realize, actually, maybe the one that I'm doing is understated. She has always kind of been very low-key, and I don't know why. I feel like intuitively and in my gut, I do know why. I just don't have the words for it yet. But her work as an actor and as a teacher of method acting, I feel like it should be something that is more accessible globally. And I don't even know how I landed on this technique. Yes. It's so strange. And I do know that going to the studio and the first, I guess the original studio, to learn Chekhov and embrace what there is to learn from Chekhov as an actor, is going to be so special because of the history and the connections and the fact that out of all of the teachers of method acting and the schools of method acting, yes, out of all of the schools of method acting and all of the different techniques, Stella Adler was the only one who actually traveled and went to study and work with Stanislavski, who is the father of a lot of modern Western English-speaking acting and method acting. So he created the system, the method, and then Stella Adler was like the only one who actually went in person and learned with him. How strange is that? How interesting and unique. And I only discovered this after I went to see. Yes. How strange is that? Okay, so I don't know what it is, but my gut and my heart and my intuition is all telling me that there's gonna be something very special about this intensive course that I'm gonna do. I'm just so excited. I'm 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 so excited. I have, you know, And literally, she's still planning the trip. But everything is all working out. And thank you to my parents for investing in me, your daughter. I don't know how this became a promo video for my parents. This video is brought to you by Mr. and Mrs. Khan Lee. Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee and Mrs. Khan. I don't because no, they did not commission. I don't know why I wanted to make. I know I wanted, I'm kind of tired of a lot of this, the direction that a lot of content on the internet is going right now. And actually being on an F1 visa is kind of nice for once. For someone who identifies as a workaholic. And who knows that if I'm given a job description with requirements and a task and I care about the job, I will do it and I will commit to it. I know that I need a break from overworking my life and overlifing life. So that is to say that I'm kind of enjoying the fact that I can just embrace the internet and create this vlog out of my passion and my love for what I'm studying in the US, my craft in acting. And this section of my vlog has gone on longer than the actual work of the monologue, but I can't give enough words to the joy and the gratitude and the happiness I'm feeling for finally being an actor in my first language. Even if, for now, the only difference between me now and me 3 years ago was the fact that 4 years ago I was a secret actor. I was an actor in the closet. I was double lifing is the phrase that we use in Singapore. I'm so tired of that phrase, okay? I'm not a double lifer, I'm an actor. And everything else is an extension of my acting. Even when I was a software engineer, overperforming, hitting all the metrics, contributing to the economy and the community, and making so much money for the English people and government, paying my taxes, voting as a Commonwealth citizen in the elections in the UK. Even when I was living that life, I was always an actor. Yes. And I'm so glad I get to do it now. Even if it's in class, like with 10 people and a teacher or something, like the fact that I get to embrace this craft with people who get it, people who see the work. And it actually is not just in class, okay? So I'm working on headshots right now and a model test shoot and digitals. I just finished these shoots over this June. So, yes. I have no idea what I'm going to do with these headshots and digitals and test shoot. I guess it's all part of the portfolio. Yes, I am building the portfolio. She's actually doing it again. So I have headshots. That's the thing. So when I applied to my studio, we submitted headshots and stuff. So I was like really, when I came into acting and fully committed to it, being an actor, I had already done all the research. Yes, she's such a good student. She's a good little Chinese girl. I had, I was studying the markets in, well, I mean, growing up, I had already been a consumer of American content and British content, French art cinema, My favorite film when I was like 13 or 15, I don't even know how I ended up watching this film at 15 or 13, whatever age I was, 13 to 15. I watched Love Me If You Dare, okay, Jeux d'enfant, with Marion Cotillard and Marion Cotillard? Is the D silent? I don't know, I'm shy. I don't know. Okay. Sorry, my French is kind of beginner. Debutante. Grand debutante. Apparently, that's my level. But, okay. Yes. So that was my favorite film as a child, teenager. Okay. If you actually know this film and you have seen this film, you're gonna be like, that is some wild, deep, and old soul content to be watching at such a young age, Diana. But yes, I watched it. I think I borrowed it from the library in Singapore, Alliance Francaise. I was doing French classes and I borrowed this film, a French art cinema film from the library or something. And it was Marion Cotillard, her breakout film, really. This was her breakout role in France. And it's what really put her on the map in her home market before Inception, before the international market. So, but her acting in this film was really good. And I think it's how, the male lead ended up being her. I don't know if they're still together. I'm sort of checked out of, I don't follow a lot of celeb gossip. I kind of only follow it from a business standpoint. Okay, I'll get to that later. But yes. So I watched the two of them acting in this film and I was captivated. It's not just them, it was Yann Samuel. Is that how you say his name? I don't know. Oh, I'm so nervous saying French words on the internet in my get ready with me hair. Okay. But she's so passionate about film and acting that she just completely forgot she needs to go blow dry her hair and go to sleep soon. But let me just finish talking about film and acting. Okay. So yes, so I watched that film and it captivated me. It was my favorite film. And I think it was that moment that I knew that acting was my life. I mean, when I was way younger, I think I was 4 or 5. Yeah, I remember the first real film that my mom and I watched. We watched BBC's Pride and Prejudice with Elizabeth. Oh, her surname is escaping me now. Elizabeth something. Oh goodness. Am I getting the character's name? Is her name Jennifer? Oh my goodness, I see her face. Anyway. Oh no, I need to go check her name. I feel really bad right now.